What's up, Shane?
Hey Sam, how's it going?
It's going good. Going
All
good. How are you
right.
doing?
Man, doing great. It's been a whirlwind since our last episode to do a little update session here. And I would say right now we're heading into a weekend. We got a pretty big snowstorm coming that actually put a little damper on some travel plans that I had originally scheduled over this weekend. And yeah, we've been rolling with that. It makes you appreciate the gravity and the force of nature and how you cannot control a lot of things in life and especially not the weather. So it's one of those reminders of like finding the positivity in things and just rolling with the punches. Um, a lot of that comes from a book that I'm reading and I've been reading for a little while now. It's called The Power of Now. And my biggest takeaway from it, I'm almost done with it. My biggest takeaway from it is really about surrendering this sense of control and ego and really just living in each moment and being like, is anything really that bad happening to me right now in this very moment? And as an engineer, I always think about it kind of more mathematically. Like if you get your little cross section down small enough in that instant, there's not a lot of change in that very instantaneous moment. And so if you look at it in that very small section of like the present and the now, you can't really have anything bad happening to you if you get it down infinitesimally small. And so I've been really just trying to focus on that and be present and really just kind of roll with it and yeah, not get swayed one way or the other. It doesn't mean that you can't feel the emotions. There's going to be all the different emotions rolled up, but more so just, yeah, being present, living in the moment. And it's a really good read. It's a little dense but very good. The Power of Now, and been helping about kind of like a little bit of a spiritual reframing as well as just how to go about the day. So we've been practicing that heavily, heavily with a lot of change going on, but it's fun and I cannot complain. I mean, it is what it is, and I'm excited to be here with my family because for those that don't know, up here in the Northeast, I think like Virginia due north or North Carolina north, it's going to be a whirlwind of a weekend with likely a lot of snow, maybe record-setting snow up here. So it's going to be fun.
I'm so sorry, guys. I mean, for you and the family, that's but feel your feelings, man. We'll take the learnings from it, like you said. But that really stinks. Hopefully, you guys are able to find some time later in the year to get to where you guys were. Where were you guys planning to go? If you don't mind sharing.
So this one was a solo trip. Actually, I was going to take for a business mastermind, and actually just happened to be going to go on in Costa Rica. So international, really nice weather right now, very picturesque. West Coast on the Pacific side, and it was going to be a meetup with a bunch of people that are kind of in the business AI group that I'm a part of, or one of them. And just such good energy. Was very excited, and yeah, any other type of weather event this time of year for where we live, right? Like maybe some smaller amounts of snow, some severe cold. Like there's not too many things that could really like put the kibosh on a trip at this point, except for like a super major snowstorm, which is what is going to be coming. So it's like, anything short of this would have been a go, but yeah, it was just too much snow, and then risk getting stranded out there or down there, and then not being able to get back because I think next week's going to be a mess up here and across the country with this storm going all the way from Arizona, Dallas to Atlanta, or like a lot of the major hubs, all the way up to Newark and Boston. So yeah, it's about to get messy, but it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good, and the universe just had a different path to go down this week and everything.
Right. That element of like wanting to always be in control, and when something doesn't go your way, that feeling of just despair and almost a sense of like defeat, like nothing matters anymore. Like um, I get rocked pretty hard when things don't go the way that I plan, and it's funny to me, like when that happens in in a professional setting, it rocks me so much harder than my personal life. For some reason, like I have, this is probably like a little crazy to share, but I have so much more emotion when it comes to business stuff than I do in like personal stuff within reason. Like the health of my friends' family, of course. Like emotionally, I'm so like tied to that. But when something that I plan for in my just personal life, I can't even think of something. Maybe I was gonna go on a short trip or go for a run, or I had something fun planned, and like that doesn't. Oh, good example. My buddy and I were going to go screen golf last week. There were no
Uh-huh.
times available. Like it was kind of crazy that it's this hard to get a time to go play screen golf for like an hour. Um, to some people, it would be very like, oh, disheartening. Like I just worked so hard for an entire week. Friday night can kind of let loose, hang out with my bud. But for me, yeah, like I would have loved to hang out with my friend, but I wasn't so hung up on it, right? Like there will be another day. Like we can hang out, in a couple of days and or the following week. But man, if I had something like that planned for my business and something got in the way, I would be distraught. Like for the next few hours, I'd be like, just, I would not be able to get out of my feelings and my head. But man, like I do appreciate having the room to feel my feelings, whether it's business or personal. Um, but quickly pivoting from that and doing the things that you can control and acknowledging that not everything is in your control it's a work in progress for me. But when you're able to understand that and almost remove yourself from your body and acknowledge what's going on, it's it's such a breath of fresh air. You're able to then keep continuing on in other areas of your business or your life that you can continue the momentum on. So yeah, huge learning. Not to get all like all up in our feelings and try to find meaning in every little thing that happens. But look, I think there is a lot of meaning to a lot of the things that happen in our life and a lot of great takeaways that we can take. So appreciate you sharing that. It reminded me again. I feel like I need this reminder every day of like can't control everything. Control what you can. And even what you think you can control, it might not even go the way that you expected it to.
Yeah. Oh man, so true. And yeah, like progress. I think you and I have this similarity where I'm the same way with business, and in my mind, it's like it follows a very linear trajectory and growth. But in fact, like progress really looks like this squiggly line, like up and down. And as long as your trend is in the positive direction, that's what you're looking for. But it's very hard to be at the top level of everything every single day and know that there are some days where you're going to have things happen, right? And that you can't control, and that you just have to kind of make the best of that and understand that as you keep stacking those wins, and like we always say, just get something on the scoreboard, even if it's just 1 point and it's not a whatever they would, you're the basketball guy here, like a triple double or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like just getting that one basket in there and up on the scoreboard can go a long way to just keeping the chain of momentum going, and keeping things in motion is always important and super valuable, both in life and in business. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's timely too. Maybe you felt this. I think a lot of people feel this, especially halfway through January. I think there's actually like a thing called Quitter's Day. I just found out about. I think it's the first or the second Friday of January where most people start failing um, their New Year's resolutions. Right. Um, I definitely felt that this week. I started to feel like, man, I'm like, the first couple of weeks I was just doing it all, right? Waking up
Yeah.
at the time that I wanted to, sleeping at the time that I wanted to. But there were some things that I failed at, right? Like there were some days that I just didn't wake up at that time, that I wasn't as structured or as motivated. Um, but I put up a score. I did something, right? And didn't give up on everything because I missed that one thing that I set out to do every single day, not only for this month, but for the entire year. So, did you feel any of that in the first, or in the last week, or just the first few weeks of this year?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely felt that after those first 2 weeks come out so strong and maybe a little bit overboard, and then you hit that wall and it's like, oh man. But I feel like for me, the having kids has really, especially young kids right now, has really, I've had to work on the resilience piece of it a lot because I mean, to be honest with you, when I set personal goals and all of that, if I looked at it every single day and was like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna do these things every single day, which I have a list of things. Like I have my 5 daily non-negotiables that are things that I'm supposed to get done and in reality should be. And that's kind of like my gold standard. But having kids and stuff, it's like sometimes when they're not feeling well and you're up at midnight with them, and then you get back into bed, and then it's 1:30 before you're getting back to sleep. It's like sometimes the best laid plan, and even though you have these things you want to get done, it doesn't happen necessarily. And I used to get so hung up on like if it wasn't, it's definitely a piece of like perfectionism of like if I don't get all 5 every day, then like that day was a failure. And looking at life through that lens, and now having changed that completely to more of like, okay, well, like what did we accomplish today? We're generally always making forward progress and keeping momentum. So the resilience piece is definitely part of that, and has been a growing piece, and learning for me having young kids. But yeah, it's fun, and I think as I get more into this, also you kind of recognize that there's going to be those periods where it's like, oh, I just want to coast, or I want to take that time off, or where I hit a wall and I'm going to give up on everything, the diet, the exercise, yeah, professional goals, all of that. But I think over time you kind of get this calloused, hardened nature where you just get into that momentum and keep moving forward with it, and things kind of start becoming more habitual and natural as opposed to having to force it. So I think getting through that initial barrier and getting it into more of a habit, then it kind of becomes almost second nature. And it might not be every day, but maybe you skip a day, but you're right back at it the next day.
Yeah, totally. And there's sometimes unexpected things that happen that get you back on the right track. I know you and
Hmm.
we talked about this a bit offline, but having a little bit of accountability from someone other than you know someone that you live with or a spouse of yours or a friend that you see every day or a coworker, right? Someone maybe even outside of your industry, but you guys get along or have some shared common goals and kind of personalities or traits. I've found that a little bit, having just even accountability checks with my sister. Like we started doing this a little bit. I mean, we just had our first one, but we're starting to do this more regularly, and it's like a scheduled time for us to check in about life, but really be accountable for certain activities that um, we might not want to do to advance our careers and our businesses, but having that meeting that's going to happen in a few days where I have to share if I've done anything. Um, even having that type of conversation got me back on track for a few days, right? You and I having an unexpected conversation about being an accountability partner like that kicked me in the butt a little bit for that next day to like get back on a couple of things that I otherwise might not have done. So yeah, it's putting in the repetition and just showing up and just trying and being resilient. And the one other thing, like as you were saying, being a dad, having two kids now, like how that's really helped with your resilience. The thing that I thought of was like, as your heart grows and like your capability of love grows, I feel like has such a beautiful benefit to you as a human, and as a CEO, and as a business leader, as a wife, a husband, whatever. I've been feeling that a lot more. Where I feel a lot of the stuff that I do every day is it's for selfish reasons, right? Like I work out so I feel better. I wake up early so I can get my work done. There's a lot of selfishness that's peppered throughout my day. Maybe a lot of other people feel the same way, or maybe they don't realize it, but they can kind of resonate with it. But man, like as I work more and more on my faith and my spirituality, which is like my number one non-negotiable thing, I find myself not only giving, more love and my time to people around me, but I start giving myself more grace and myself a little bit more self-love and some, you know, a few breaks. Like it's okay if you didn't get to all of those things that you thought you needed to that day. Now, that could be a slippery slope, right? Just giving myself grace on everything that I do. But man, for those days when it's tough, like you couldn't go to bed at the time that you wanted, you didn't get that great sleep, or just happened to miss one of those things that you really wanted to do. Yeah, the ability to give yourself grace and then bounce back from that. I feel like that's been a key like common theme in my life in the last 3 weeks. And yeah, hopefully, this is a message to you and other people too, that it's okay. Just give yourself some grace. But just come back the next day fighting even harder.
Yeah, definitely, right? Like just get up off the if you're in the boxing match metaphor here, it's like just get off the canvas and just stand up, right? And
Yep.
get back in there. And if you keep doing that over and over, the people that kind of, if you want to say win or achieve, I think are the people who just don't give up, and that you are motivated and you feel motivation from those small wins, and that progress stacks over time, and that'll be the most gratifying piece of the journey probably.
Absolutely. Well, look, before we disband, we of course want to give a few updates on the business side of things. So what can you share with me and the audience? Anything exciting? Any learnings on the business side of things? Any updates that you'd love to share with those listening today?
Ah man, so much. I would say the big takeaway over the last 3 weeks for us has been a really big push into learning and understanding the marketing world. So a little bit of overlap with your world in the SEO, but I would say for everybody out there and anybody who's maybe in a mature business or is looking to start their own business, once you have an idea of what it is you want to sell to people as far as a product, let's call it, and you create your offer to sell people, the next piece is really doubling down on marketing and getting leads. Like that is the lifeblood of a business. And you can have too many, but in a way you can't, because it's, even if you're sold out, people will keep coming back. And I think of good metaphor analogy here is there's a really famous pizza place that we love to go get pizza in New Jersey, and which is DeLucci's, and they only make so many pizzas per day, and then they sell out, and people will come and they'll say, "Oh no, we're sold out now." And that's okay. I mean, they've got more leads and demand than they do product to sell. But guess what? People keep coming back. And so if you can get to that state of oversubscribed, let's call it, there's a great book by that title. That's the place you want to be in and where you want to go. And that I would make a beeline for that. And so we're really focusing now on getting the word out and creating that, the lead generation engine. And that's our really first big internal project milestone, where we're bringing in contractors to help us do this and generate awareness and leads. And so I'm excited to check back in at the end of the first quarter and see how many leads we've generated and the momentum we're carrying, because we got some big goals, and I'm excited to execute on that, and hopefully even maybe beat those goals. So that's my take
That's all.
for this update.
That's awesome. And for those who might not know, um, Shane, you guys have an accelerator program coming up. Is that in the spring? What is it called? What can people expect from this course?
Yeah, so we've got a AI activation program coming up, spring 2026. We're going to be launching end of April, and we are going to run 8 weeks plus probably a couple bonus we'll throw in there for free some weeks after. And that is really for anybody who is in the engineering and engineering powered business space. And they want their team, not just engineers, but project managers, project controls, admin, finance, ops, HR, all that. Come on in. We specialize in AI for those businesses and the workflows, and we're just going to lay it down and take you from either, if you're at ground zero, you get a free foundations course access prior to, so you can lay that foundation. And then from there, we just kind of load up the rocket ship and all go on a journey into from basics to intermediate to advanced, and then touch on some of those like really deep applications so everybody gets aware. And then after that, we engage with folks to help them actually implement and continue to educate the rest of their company and different departments and folks to start leveraging Gen AI to get positive return on it.
That's awesome. And if you guys want to reach out to Shane, he's most active on Instagram at Shane Chalupa, also active on LinkedIn. But I think Instagram is the best place to get a hold of him. Yeah.
Yep, Instagram or LinkedIn, any of those, and would love to engage in any discussion or thoughts, questions that folks might have. And yeah, we're excited for what's to come. And how about on your side before we call this an episode? What's the major takeaway and update on your side?
Yeah, I think, when I began this year, did a lot of planning as far as taking stock of where my time is being invested for my business. If I had to put rough percentages to it, um, about 70% of my time is for anything client and external facing, right? Deliverables, um, making sure that we're making good on all of the scopes that we have out. 20% of the time being spent on marketing, and then 10% split between operations and sales. Every day, when I'm hoping and I'm inching closer towards, is flipping those percentages upside down so that I'm spending most of my time on sales and operation, um, and then marketing, and then having people do client and delivery. So, um, yeah, just making incremental changes, even though they're very, very small. Making those small changes so that over time, I can look back in 12 to 24 months, and really point back to this point in time where I acknowledged where I'm at, I know where I have to go, and I put in the work to kind of flip this state that I'm in, where I'm doing a lot but not designing enough for my business, whereas the hope is to get to a place where I'm designing every facet of my business while the doing is being handled either now by AI automation, either agentic or some flavor of that, or actual people handling those key functions. So yeah, that's I think that's kind of the main thing. Obviously, lots going on in the search world. I think this past week there was the most news ever in terms of Google product development updates. We've got UCP protocols. We've got, I think just last night, announcement around personalization hitting AI mode. We'll certainly get to more of the details around that in some future sessions where I talk more squarely about SEO. But yeah, it's just an exciting time, and I know the value that we can provide clients. And yeah, operationalizing from going from doing to designing is only going to help my business be able to touch more businesses out there and support them in their search journey.
Oh, awesome. That's exciting. Looking forward to hearing about that on future episodes. Man, we packed a
Absolutely.
lot in into this shorter format. There's some really, really good gold in there. And the last parting piece I have is for those looking that are in Sam's situation, you're working in the business and not on it. A great book I just finished up that I loved. It's an easy read, but so good, is Built to Sell. And it is a really fun book. I love it, and that's going to be my playbook really for designing the business and how we go about it. So um,
That's so funny. That's the book that got me to think about like the percentage breakouts of like what I'm doing versus not doing. So I can validate. It's an amazing book. You truly want to build something that someone else is willing to buy. Um, Absolute banger of a book. Highly
yeah,
recommend as well.
that's a great way to end it.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Yep. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.